Hello everybody, and welcome to this Saturday Christmas concert. Thank you so much for joining us online. We're sorry that it's not quite, well, more sorry for us than you, I suppose, but we're sorry it's not in the warmth and comfort of a church, but due to the change in regulations, that was no longer possible. But mountains have been moved, and we are delighted that we are able to at least bring you some sort of concert. We are outside. It is freezing, but it is Christmas, so we are entering into the frosty snowman spirit. That first piece was the first movement of Bach's Concerto for two violins in D minor. Bach is quite frequently associated with Christmas because of his mammoth Christmas oratorio, but a huge choral work is not quite possible for just 3 string players. We thought that was a nice, nippy way to begin a concert. Next up, I've got 2 movements from the Snowman. Christmas would not be complete without the Snowman. And then 2 carols, which you will recognise. Silent Night, followed by Deck the Halls.
So welcome everyone to our Christmas outdoor concert. Our fingers are getting colder by the moment, but we're still really glad to be here. And excuse us taking a little bit longer between numbers at the moment. It's due to pegging being outdoors. So I've got a little reading here for you. The 12 thank you notes of Christmas. December 25. My dearest, darling Edward, what a wonderful surprise has just greeted me. That sweet partridge and that lovely little pear tree. What an enchanting, romantic, poetic present. Bless you and thank you. Your deeply loving Emily. December 26. Beloved Edward, the 2 turtle doves arrived this morning and are cooing away in the pear tree as I write. I'm so touched and grateful. With undying love, as always, Emily. December 27. My darling Edward, you do think of the most original presents. Who ever thought of sending anybody 2 French hens? Do they really come all the way from France? It's a pity we have no chicken coops, but I expect we'll find some. Anyway, thank you so much. They are lovely. Your devoted Emily. December 28. Dearest Edward, what a surprise. 4 calling birds arrived this morning. They are very sweet, even if they do call rather loudly. They make telephoning almost impossible. But I expect they'll calm down when they get used to their new home. Anyway, I am very grateful. Of course I am. Love from Emily. December 29. Dearest Edward, the postman has just delivered 5 most beautiful gold rings, 1 for each finger, and all fitting perfectly. A really lovely present. Lovelier in a way than the birds, which do take rather a lot of looking after. The 4 that arrived yesterday are still making a terrible row, and I'm afraid none of us got much sleep last night. Mother says she wants to use the rings to wring their necks. Mother has such a sense of humour. This time she's only joking, I think, but I do know what she means. Still, I love the rings. Bless you, Emily. December 30. Dear Edward, whatever I expected to find when I opened the front door this morning, it certainly wasn't 6 sucking great geese laying eggs all over the porch. Frankly, I rather hoped that you had stopped sending me birds. We have no room for them, and they've already ruined the croquet lawn. I know you meant well, but let's call it a halt, shall we? Love, Emily. December 31. Edward, I thought I said no more birds. This morning I woke up to find no more than 7 swans all trying to get into our tiny goldfish pond. I'd rather not think what's happened to the goldfish. The whole house seems to be full of birds, to say nothing of what they leave behind them, so please, please stop. You're Emily. January 1. Frankly, I prefer the birds. What am I to do with 8 milkmaids and their cows? Is this some kind of a joke? If so, I'm afraid I don't find it very amusing. Emily. January 2. Look here, Edward. This has gone far enough. You say you're sending me 9 ladies dancing. All I can say is, judging from the way they dance, they certainly are not ladies. The village just isn't accustomed to seeing a regiment of shameless viragos with nothing on but their lipstick cavorting round the green, and it's Mother and I who get the blame. If you value our friendship, which I do less and less, kindly stop this ridiculous behaviour at once. Emily. January 3. As I write this letter, 10 disgusting old men are prancing up and down all over what used to be the garden, before the geese and the swans and the cows got at it, and several of them, I have just noticed, are taking inexcusable liberties with the milkmaids. Meanwhile, the neighbours are trying to have us evicted. I shall never speak to you again. Emily. January 4. This is the last straw. You know I detest bagpipes. The place has now become something between a menagerie and a madhouse, and a man from the council has just declared it unfit for habitation. At least Mother has been spared this outrage. They took her away yesterday afternoon in an ambulance to a home for the bewildered. I hope you're satisfied. January 5th. Sir, our client, Miss Emily Wilbraham, instructs me to inform you that on the arrival on her premises at 7:30 this morning of the entire percussion section of the London Symphony Orchestra and several of their friends, she has no course left open to her but to seek an injunction to prevent you from importuning her further. I am making arrangements for the return of much assorted livestock. I am yours, sir, yours faithfully, G. Creep, solicitor. So that's another slight spin on the 12 days of Christmas from the other side. I hope the traffic noise isn't interfering too much. We're just at one with the elements, so we have some nice birds and little robin coming around from time to time, so we're going with the flow. So next we're going to play 6 movements from the Nutcracker by Tchaikovsky. I found out today that actually, it turns out Tchaikovsky was a bit of a hypochondriac. He refused to drink any water other than bottled water, which was pretty unusual in his time. And he also had a rather irrational fear that his head might fall off whilst conducting the orchestra. So, there we go.
now we're going to have another reading, which is "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by Clement Clark Moore. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the lustre of midday to objects below. When, what to my wondering eyes should appear, but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and the pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fair from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, and his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowlful of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his fingers aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all good night. So next we're going to play 2 movements from Handel's Messiah. The first one is the Pastoral Symphony, and the second one is the Alleluia Chorus. Again, we don't have the forces for a full choir, so we'll do our best.
So we just went to the slightly jazzier side of the carol repertoire there with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, and lastly there was Hark the Herald, the Angels Sing. We have just one more short piece to play for you, but first I would just like to say again, just a massive thank you for joining us online. Sorry you couldn't join us as a live audience, but we're so grateful that you are have all converted your tickets to online tickets and are joining us here in this beautiful outdoor. Actually, it's tipping it down now, so probably for the best that you are at home. But it's such a surreal concert, this. But before we play our last piece, I just want to share with you a rather surreal incident that happened a couple of days ago when we did another Christmas concert. And because of the whole situation, obviously, as you know, you have to pre-book tickets so that we know how many people turn up to the concert so we can distance accordingly. Well, at this concert, we had quite a few seats still left, and 3 people turned up that hadn't booked in advance, and we should strictly have turned them away, but there was plenty of room, and so we entered into the festive spirit and had a bit of a laugh. And we said to them, fine, we'll let you in, if you can produce something that represents the festive season. And they were up for this, which was great fun. So the first person pulled out a lighter, and they turned on the lighter and told us that it represented a candle. And we thought, great, love the imagination. They got in. The second person pulled out their house keys, perhaps a little bit tenuous, but they then rattled them and said, these are the bells. And we thought, lovely, great. Now the third person, I don't know what you think to this. Well, they had a little rummage and then pulled out some ladies' stockings. Now this was a family-friendly concert, so we were a little bit wary, shall we say, and we did express our disbelief and said, well, what on earth are these then? And they came back with the reply, these are carols.
Everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Can we just say thank you to Nell, who is behind the scenes filming this for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.